Hi, I'm Greg Watkins, Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce, Thailand. 2021 is BCCT's 75th anniversary, and one of the things we're doing is reaching out and reconnecting with some of the key people who made BCCT what it is today. And this afternoon it's my great pleasure to introduce Bernard Coe, who is a great friend of Thailand and a great friend of BCCT. Bernard joined the BCCT board in October 1982. He was vice chairman the following year and was chairman from 1984 to 1986. During this time, he was also, in his day job, chairman of the Shell Companies of Thailand. Since returning to UK, Bernard has kept in contact with Thailand. For 6 years during the 1990s, he was chairman of the Anglo-Thai Society, and in 2012 was appointed honorary president. So a very warm welcome to you, Bernard. Tell us a little bit about your time in the board in those days.
Well, I joined, as you say, in '84, more by accident than design, I think, and stayed until the end of '87. There wasn't any great upheaval. It was a largely uneventful time. We used to meet in a little office near Kingsway Store on Ceylon Road, and Bobby Lawson was our secretary, and she was pretty efficient, and it was fairly uneventful. One or two things, like the time they burned down the tantalum factory. You know, Thailand tin has tantalum associated with it. And it's called tantalum because it's very difficult to extract, but it was very valuable, and it's in most of our computers. Mm-hmm. And somebody decided they wished to build one down in Phuket Way. And I don't know, somebody took against it, and the next thing there was a mob, and it was burnt down. Mm-hmm. And that caused quite a crisis. The minister at the time was Dr. Chirayu. I think he's still around, is he not?
I think so, yes.
And he was Minister of Industry, and there was something of a crisis because this was foreign investment which had been trashed. And we had several meetings with him on how they should compensate and so on. That was fairly eventful. Yes.
Do you have an enduring memory of your time on the board of directors of the British Chamber?
Well, it was fairly straightforward. We had very good relations with the government, and I used to sit on the Thai Chamber of Commerce. They used to meet once a month or once every 2 months, and it was all very conventional stuff. There was one meeting though that does stay in my mind, is because we turned up, and as we sat down around the table, there were television sets everywhere. And I said, well, what are these for? They said, well, there's the middleweight contest, I think, whether there were two, was it Floyd Mayweather, the two top middleweights of the world, who were great rivals, were fighting that day in New York. And of course, Thais love boxing. And so they put these television sets, and so we stopped the meeting to watch the fight, and then we resumed the meeting after. To get your priorities right, I said. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's nearly 40 years we're going back. It's a long time, but you've kept a close affinity with Thailand since you returned to the UK. What's your sense of the many ways that Thailand has changed since that time?
Oh, well, it has got much more prosperous, I would think. I mean, it was after I left that the economy really took off, and the Chamber of Commerce, I mean, we had about 100 members when I think I was there. And what have we got now, 400 or 500?
Yes, over 500, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, the whole setup is much more sophisticated and professional. That's the big change, I think.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days. I know happily retired, but I know you're still involved in one or two things.
Well, I mean, now, of course, because of the lockdown, that knocks an awful lot of activity on the head. But one of my major involvements was with the local museum. We have quite a big local museum, and they wanted a new chairman. And no sooner had I come out of the city life that I was leading than I was made chairman of the museum. And we've had a big lottery bid, £1 million lottery bid. We expanded the museum, and it's now really thriving. So that was probably my main activity.
And still with the Anglo-Thai Society?
The Anglo-Thai Society, yes. I've done various roles there. It sort of hiccuped along a bit with various people doing things and some not doing anything. And but we've been successful. We've had our House of Lords meetings and so on. So it's still thriving, and it's still giving lectures. But of course, it's been very much restricted by the lockdown. You know, you couldn't have meetings and so on. But it's sort of kicking into life again now, I see.
Sure. No, I see that. I see that too. How do you see Thailand's role in the post-COVID world? Perhaps, you know, in relation to Thailand's position, you know, 40 years ago, things have moved on significantly since then. How do you see Thailand's role?
Well, it seems to be very much, I think, a model for the third world, or well, not the third world, really, I suppose, but very much model. You know, it encourages foreign investment, I think, reasonably well, and people like investing in Thailand.
What's let's ask a personal question. What was your favourite thing to do and your favourite place to go in Thailand? And don't say the Shell office.
No, you know, we had a house down at Pattaya. The general manager, the chairman had a house at Pattaya, and whenever possible at weekends we would go down there on a Friday night and come back on a Sunday night, and that was very relaxing, very nice. You know, a few friends down there, good restaurants. You know what Pattaya's like, but.
Okay, well, fantastic. It's been great reconnecting, Bernard. Thank you very much for bearing with us, and a very happy 89th birthday for Monday.
Thank you very much.
We shall raise a glass to your good health, and hopefully I can see you next year.
Or three.
Well, yeah, or three, or three. Hopefully I can get back next year and we can meet and chat again in person.
To you.
Sure. Thanks, Bernard.
Thank you very much.